What is up, everybody? This is going to be the trade review for what freaking day is this? The 6th. I'm reviewing it on the 7th, though. So you can see it's a down day for me, and I took way more than 10 trades, which in my last trading video, because this is Monday right here that you're looking at. In my last trading video, I do mention that I'm only going to take 10 trades a day for the next week. And to prevent over trading, and I didn't do that. So because of that, I only took 5 trades today, which today was also a down day. So I'm not doing so hot for this 5K challenge right now. There's several issues that I'm going to write down right now. You can clearly see this is a long one. My kid's coming home from school, so there may be loud noise in the back. I'll tell them to be quiet when they come in. But just bear with me, because this is a long one. I'm going to go over every single one of these trades. I just need to pull something up. I'm going to create a new document here. It's called Trading on Tilt. So a lot of SMB. There's a good video on Trading on Tilt from SMB Capital. What does that mean? That basically means when you get real fucking angry or you do something stupid, you start doing real stupid shit. That's what today turned out. I mean, I literally lost $300. So I was up a lot more than what you see here. I mean, look, $300 right there. Those are fucking closing bell trades. That was stupid. Those closing bell trades fucking kill me. They're nothing like the opening bell trades. So I'm going to write about this shit. So, I trade better micro scalps. Trying to like type, and I have this large mic that's in the fucking way. Okay, there we go. I trade better micro scalps on the opening, and at the close I get ran over. Not always, but I'm starting to notice this pattern. I'm trying to schedule a fucking mentor consultation thing with somebody at SMB. I know they did it before for like $99. You get an hour to talk about whatever. So I definitely need to tighten shit up. Also, another issue right now is I live in Austin, Texas, and I don't know if anybody's been here, but if you don't have allergies to anything, when you come here, you will have allergies. We have cedar pollen, which runs rampant, and I am highly allergic to this, and I just feel like shit for the last 2 days. Mentally, I'm not on top of things. So, allergies. These are things I'm going to talk to them about. Allergies are killing me. So these are issues. Revenge trading. That's what you'll see in here. Actually, more so, it's not revenge trading. Well, it kind of is, but it's more so trading the P&L can be a huge issue for me. Trading the P&L, however, I need to keep track of drawdown so I don't pass my limit. Obviously, I need a piece of technology for this. So the problem is, for this particular review we're going to do, I really watch the P&L a lot. And that, I got so into it, and I'm trying to think right now because these emotions fester up to where I just start doing dumb shit. But I also need to keep track of what my drawdown is so I can start scaling down. This is tough. It's tough. Okay. So, we'll come back to this near the last of the trades because I'm going to try to tap into my emotions for the last trades because I was fucking angry. I was trading with anger. So I need to relive that moment through this review. Way too many trades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 fucking trades. So, I mean, commissions, even at a prop firm, that's not cool. With whatever I have in profits, all goes to commission, probably by now. But we have to find good in this. I have to figure out what are the good things. Obviously, they're the best trade right here. And this I accidentally put 4 in. So, theoretically, this one's the best trade. So we need to figure out what I did well in this session. And we need to praise myself over that. Because that's something S&B wants to do. And that's just part of having a positive mindset and being thankful for whatever. If you smell what I'm stepping in here. Okay, so the first trade is a break even. It goes against me 1, goes in my favor 1. It's a 6-second long. Let's watch it. So what is this? This is 10 minutes. Oh, shit. This is 10 minutes after the open. What am I looking for on this? Let's see if it even makes sense. That's why I love trade reviews, because I can see. Because, you know, in the moment of trading, you have a performance mindset, but in the middle of a trade review, you can just sit back, relax, and you don't have to be in mental high alert, and you can really see what you do stupid. So I can see there's a distribution curve here. Notice down here. So if you watch the video, the trade video, I literally put it up like an hour ago. It took a little too long to get that out. I got to get better at this. But I talk about this pattern, this zigzag pattern here. Here's the bell curve. You can kind of see it. So we trade here. We go down. We get rejected off the VWAP, which the VWAP really doesn't matter for me. For me, it's all about profile structure, but other traders do trade a little weird around the VWAP. So it's good to know. But anyways, so my profile structure, or this particular zigzag pattern, it's going back up. Theoretically, this should be a top tick turnover, which actually, if we look at my report card, I was supposed to pick risk all day, which I stopped doing. So for my report card, I'm giving myself an F. I failed at picking risk, which the next trade review, because this is the 6th, the trade review from the 7th, I do pick risk even though I'm down. So I did nip it in the butt the next day. I had to do the top tick turnaround, but this entire day just kept going up. It was an uptrend. And I'm just not used to trading this type of uptrending move. It was just buy long and hold it forever. But how the fuck did I know that it was going to just keep going? I tend to play a little better in these distribution zones where it's going to do some sort of ranging. So, one of my strengths, because I need to put together this thing so I have something to talk about with. If I'm able to contact like a mentor or a coach for an hour, which I'm going to try to record that and put it on the channel. I need like solid questions. I can't just pull shit out of my ass. I need to be prepared. Strength, scalping, micro scalping, the open. I know I already put that. Just write shit down, man. That's all I can say. Micro scalping, the open. What else? Trading ranges. Trading ranges. Weakness. Trends. I'm not. All day trend days. All day trend days. What else? I know you want to see these reviews, but this is about my journey and you're going to learn from it. Those of you who actually watch these, I definitely give you kudos. All day trend days are kind of a weakness. What else? I'm starting to get like real hesitant about breakouts, man, because I've been ran over by them. Breakouts because I get ran over by fades. And then I miss them. I can't spell for shit. And my allergies are fucked, sorry. Trading the fucking over trading. Definitely a problem. When I limit my trades for the day, I tend to hit my max trades within an hour or two. Trading P&L like it's a scoreboard. That's what really fucks me. Okay, let's get into this. So right here, the way this popped up, it just looks like a solid fade. This is the zigzag pattern. It's a higher high than here. I don't know where it goes. I go long. So I go against what I would normally think would be a good move. So I go long, I get out of it because it stops moving in my favor. So that's the first break even. Let's see where it goes. So it chops around and comes down. So, I mean, I could see that break even being good. And it's getting embedded up there. Does it go up? Does it go up? Yeah, it does. Here's the embedding. Oh, yeah. So it continues up. Interesting. So that's the first trade. The next trade is also a break even. It's 23 seconds. So I'm pulling that up. Goes against me 1, goes in my favor 3. So long. These are all mostly 2 contracts. There's 1 3 contract trade and then the 1 4, which we'll see what went wrong there. Anyways, if you look at it, this next trade, this is where I broke even somewhere right around here. Interesting. I'm looking at this pattern for the breakout of this bell curve. You can see the bell curve. Really, the breakout would be right around here where the low nodes are. We'll see. I think with this sizes, and this is the overnight value area high. This is a long? Yeah, this is a long. Before we watch that, I actually just thought of something. Man, I got a lot of weaknesses. Positioning myself for breakouts early. Too early or too late. I don't know if that's a good one. We'll see. Let's watch how this trade goes. Because this looks like a breakout, right? You got that 500 sitting there. Somebody threw in the 100 on the tape. Here we go. That got zapped. And I'm waiting, which is great. Because there's that pullback. So I didn't buy that top. Now it's starting to somewhat get propped up. What time is it? 8:46. There it goes. Right there, this is the resistant flip. If that size can stay there, and looks like I'm taking the play. So I'm taking a playbook play here. So I take the play. There it goes. That's good news. And then I noticed the size is falling off here. That's no longer becoming support. So I break even for it. And it's getting capped right here. Where does it go from this point forward? Check, check. Okay, Mike's good. It's real hairy in there. And that support, that size isn't there anymore. Yeah. Look, and how it just goes down. That was a good trade. That, honestly, I know I broke even on it, but with that size just pulling out like that, it just, look at that. Huge move down. See that huge move down? So it's good that I pulled out of there, actually. So I took a playbook trade. Whoops. So I did take a playbook trade, so give me just a second here. because I want to write down good things that have happened for this day, because I don't see this day being good at all. This is the 847 trade. 847 trade was a playbook resistance flip that failed, and I managed to break even. Yes, it does go up here, but when it's testing right here and that size is gone, that play is no longer valid in my opinion. I definitely should tag it. I don't know if I should tag it because it's a failure. It's the pattern, but it fails. So good things. Good things. What's next? 849. I lose 3 ticks. Right? Yeah. Goes against me a point. It goes in my favor 1. So this is that failure. Remember, this is the pattern failure. Right here. So this is the pattern failure. We obviously know it's going to fall back in. See that 513? It just pulled off right there. So look at this size right here. This is sort of a support flip or a resistant flip. But that size wasn't there for very long, so I find this to not be as valid. I want it to be sitting there for longer to be more of a valid flip, because if it's not there for that long, it tends to, it pulled off right there. It tends to get traded through, and then you just had 2 blocks on the tape. This is a short, too, so I'm going to short whatever is about to happen. It happens at 8:49, so we got about a minute. Longest minute ever. See, in this zone, I just don't know. It just got blasted by 2 blocks. 2 very large blocks, but the thing is, it gets absorbed almost. Here comes, they're blasting it again. The sellers are. And they're definitely dropping it in, but there it goes. There's a cascade of price drop right there. So I go for the short here, but then again it bounces right on that 319. And then yeah. They just juked it again with the 218 and 191 plus a buy block. So sellers are aggressively trying to get this down right here. And I would say on some other day this would work. Here they go. They threw in a 135 as well. And they're just not getting through here. All right, my kid's home. Hold on. So that got blasted down, and I decide to get out. So there's quite a few blocks that were hitting this level, and there's just clearly absorption here. I decided to get out of it because I guess I was picking risk. I don't know if I was picking risk or not, but that high node would have looked like the spot to pick risk at. That was sort of an impulsive trade, and it wasn't really a good setup. There was kind of no reason for that trade. Let's see what happens from this point forward. So definitely goes through the risk zone. It goes up a little more, and then it gets juked down. This is sort of the down, the breakdown. I don't know if I pick a trade. Let me see here. Okay, so we're going to see more of this breakdown because I do want to tag this break back down or see what happened. Because obviously I try to go for it, and it went against me. As in, I tried to go for this, you know, I tried to go short here, and it failed miserably, but it looks like it's going to cascade down some point here, and I want to see why. What makes that happen? So let's look at the next trade. 8:56, 2 minute and 34 second duration. Holy shit, it goes in my favor 10 and it goes against me 5, but for some reason I lose out on it. So was this a good frickin' trade and I just totally fucked it? Let's see. Obviously I did something stupid. It went in my favor by that much. Whew, let's see what happened. And what is it, a short? It's a short. So it looks like, and this is it, 8:53, it happens at 8:54. So I definitely pick a fantastic trade here. So here we go. So I'm looking for a top tick turnover right here to make sure that we don't come through here by one tick and then it flips back up. Clearly this OVAH level, the overnight value area high, is definitely a level that seems to be a bounce zone. So I want to confirm this is going to turn back into resistance. And you can see this higher node above it. It really shows how much of a struggle there was at this price. You got this 288 that's sort of popping the market back up. And it just kind of dwindled away. So I do go for it, but as soon as I go for it, this flexes up to 253. So look, it's at 187. Watch, as soon as I click it, this 167 will flex up. See? Kind of unlucky on that entry. And you have these 3 buy blocks that are coming in, but it's not pushing the market up. So that looks like sellers are taking it at this point. And clearly this would be a top tick turnover, actually. What time does that happen at? I do want to tag that. So we're at 25.38. 25.38. I want to tag this. real quick. So this is for the 6. 1, 6. Top tick turnover. Possible. This is a possible. Because I want to put this in my playbook. At what time? 51, 8:51. 8:51. Okay. Right here, this looks like a top tick turnover. I don't know. Yeah, well, actually, kind of, yeah. I just want to see how that plays out to see if I can't catch something like that. Structurally, it doesn't make sense. Anyways, let's get back to this trade and see what happens here. Theoretically, if I was to pick risk, it'd be right here at this higher node. Right on. So getting through here is definitely going to be an issue. Obviously, I fuck it pretty hard on this one. If it goes in my favorite fucking 10 ticks, man. Even today, I've left so much money on the table. That's why today was also a losing day, which today is the 7th. Again, we're reviewing the 6th. So this is a pretty damn good entry, actually. Really good entry. So I'm attempting to get, it's starting to ring a bell. I'm attempting to front run the POC, but at the same time, getting through this low node is going to be a little harder. And wow, look at you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So barely tags my price at only 82. Look, I'm considering getting out right here, but I don't take it. And it just, right here, just sort of jukes and zips right back in. You got the size trying to bang it up. And the thing is, when I usually, and another thing is, we've been overextended on the bell curve that theoretically it should pull back in, or at least test the VPOC again, but it was more so a quick bounce. Right there, look. See, that was it. See how quick that was? Turns out to be a fucking loser at this point. Yep, and I'm going to scalp out at my risk point. So this trade was perfect. I just didn't take profits. See, I keep holding it because I'm figuring, you know, maybe this is a pullback to where the entry is because this overnight value area high. Notice it bounced off of it. So now it's starting to act as resistance again. Or, yeah, it's starting to act as resistance because it was support. And this is why, you know, I sit here and try to hold these really big moves when this was just a massively successful micro scalp that yielded so much, and I should have just took it. And that's one of my strengths. And the thing is, when I hold these things, it just comes back and bites me in the ass and turns into a loser. And that's my risk zone, so I take it out on my risk zone. So really, this trade was perfect. I just didn't take profits. Yeah. Does it go back in? No. Just goes back up. We're going to watch that again because it's a good trade. And I think it continues to trend up from that point forward. And generally, if this was a normal day, it shouldn't have done what it did, but what can I do about that? mean, it nailed my target right on the money. It just I didn't get queued out on it. So let's watch that whole setup again. So this is the 854 trade. Things I did good. Because we need to talk positive. Because we need to be in a forgiveness mindset and a positive mindset. We need to see what we did well so we can do more of what we did well. If we think about what we did bad, we'll do more of that. So I do apologize for all the sound in the background. And was perfect execution and risk. Execution on entry. Should have been a quick scalp. So it was a perfect execution on entry, and risk zone was picked out. Should have been a quick scalp. To be perfect. Okay, so let's go back into seeing how this works out. So there's going to be a lot of noise in the background, and I apologize. There's really nothing I can do about it. So I know, man, this whole trade is just a perfect execution. So I know at this point I know that this is solid support, and I know we're flipping at this point. What's interesting is there's a smaller distribution bell curve right here compared to here. And so this is almost like a low node crossover at the same time between two distribution zones. And you have the size there, so this just is a perfect trade altogether, other than leaving all that money on the table. But this is why I review this, because, you know, if I didn't review this, then I wouldn't know that this was such a good trade, that I performed pretty well on it. And seeing me perform so well on it makes me feel good about this day, even though it was a losing day. And also, again, we have these blocks coming in, these buy blocks right here. Again, the 123, the 100, and the 122. So let's watch these buy blocks come in on the tape. We'll watch down here. So we've already watched sort of the order flow on the DOM. Let's watch the tape. This is where the tape comes in handy, so you know that there's absorption on the sell side. So buyers throwing the 107, which is good. 122 comes back in. And it does pop it up a little bit, but we stay down here. You see how we're not just zipping up? We're kind of staying down here. Then we have a 100. It just comes in. Doesn't even move the market. That's complete absorption right there. I mean, it popped up just now, but... And then we're still kind of dropping in. Then you have the 118 push, and then you immediately have 123 come in. and it really doesn't go up. And it has this pressure, it has this feel of downtrend, basically. And another 100 just came in, and I think you can see it right here, perfectly matched. Still doesn't go up. We still have that downward pressure. So that's kind of what absorption looks like. You can see it. Then you have this 135 come in, which, yes, it does push it up a little bit, but it still isn't going. Now you have this 196 come in. So these are two big buyers and sellers going against each other, or it could be multiple guys, we don't know. And then we're starting to push in. The size on 24 even is going to be the issue. We have another 116 block on the tape. Now I have this 418 stepping up, which is just beautiful. I like seeing that. We're in a pinch right here. You can see the two sizes squeezing it. Got 101, 100 come in. We had that 153 buy, but that really didn't make a difference at all. And then clearly we trigger some stops somewhere in here. Right there. Because it just zips so hard right there. Only 66 trade here, which I'm 81 in the queue there. And you can see I try to catch it right there, but it just goes for me. And now at this point, I'm being greedy instead of trying to get out. I cancel that off at 22.75. Let's see if it tags 22.75 again. I don't think it does. Yeah, that's just straight up greed comes in. We do bounce here. All right, so holding wrist. This is my wrist. So this high node does its job in that level in general, but not for long. 22. What did I say? 22.75. That's where I had that other limit. We don't even get close to there, do we? No, we don't get close to there. Yeah, we get the 23.50. Good to see that. Sucks it turned into a loser. Getting greedy on big trades. That's a weakness, right? Next trade here, 911. Let's see where that is. So it's a long for 1 minute and 15 seconds. It's a break even. It goes against me 3. Goes in my favor 3. As you can see, a lot has happened. We really get range bound. Here's that overnight value area high. So we start to trade above it again. Remember, this is that last trade I faded right here. So for me, it's really hard. And I know I did notice in the trading day, this profile really had this bullish look to it. Actually, the entire profile was bullish before the open, but it just kept running all day long. So at this point, I'm just not used to seeing a profile structure like this. Notice where the size was holding it down, and you got a high volume edge here. So it looks like I'm trying to go long through this point because I figure we're going to test the overnight high here. Really do apologize for all that sound. So this is going to be a problem. This 3HV is a 3-year high volume edge. It's like this, except for on a 3-year composite profile. So it's kind of doing what it's supposed to, and that's acting as resistance. So I'm just kind of watching this. The high volume edge is going to be the issue, which has a 370 and a 321. And it just looks like a rollover. So, I mean, that in theory, that looks like a good exit. And also, this, for me, if this turned out to be a ranging day, it would make sense to get out right here because these lower nodes should fill in to build more of a perfect looking bell curve. And we're kind of overextended. And in theory, it looks like it should come back and test at least the VPOC now that it's sort of not able to get through here. And we're having these blocks that just can't seem to push it up. So the next trade, which is the longest trade, happens literally. I'm about to immediately get back in. So I'm not going to fast forward the video. So I'm going to get into it, and this is where I accidentally put in 4 contracts. It goes against me 8, which is a lot. And it goes in my favor 12. So I should be getting right back in. I haven't adjusted the video at all. What is it? It's a long. Look how it. Okay, yeah, that's why I go for it. Notice the there was 700 right there. It's a pull push. So this is a playbook trade. These are a little harder to figure out. You'll see all this. I'm trying to pause it at, there we go, at 28 even, 740. Watch it pull and come up a tick. So I see it. And it's also starting to, this is also a resistant flip. So this is another playbook trade. So I go for it, but as soon as I click it, it pulls and then comes up and then it pushes the market. It really, holy shit, it canceled off. That's kind of unfortunate because that large order just canceled off. That's a fucking spoof. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that was a spoof. So let's see where it goes. I'm going to fast forward it. It's obviously going against me. I don't really think I have risk picked out. Theoretically, 2650 would be my risk zone. It made sense to get in there, but actually 27 even looks like a better risk zone. Let's go forward. Am I in 4 right now? Yeah, somewhere in there I accidentally got into 4 of the 4 orders. Let's go back. How do I get in here 4? So we have... I'm in the queue at 2675. I cancel. Wait. 912, sorry. Went back way too far. So I get out there. I'm about to get back in. That was at break even. How do I get 4 in? So I go for this. I try to front run this price. I miss it. Oh shit, I see what happened. I get before I can cancel the order here, I go for this one, get the fill, and then it immediately, basically the spoof got me in twice. So I noticed I was in 4. So what I did was I set my limit to 4 with the hotkey. Look at that drop. Oh, God. In theory, I should have been out of this thing when it came back in and tested up here. I should have played the high volume edge and played up here for the breakout. And it's about to just melt right here. It's going to melt down. I just want to see what that looks like. Notice those 2 blocks, the 244 and 190. You got even more blocks coming in. They're shoving it. Even more blocks. They're just shoving it. Another one. They're shoving it harder. But it's absorbing there at that point. So yeah, is that 8 ticks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does it fall back in more? There's a point where this thing turns around. Yeah, see that little juke down? That's what that was. Sellers really tried to dig in. with all those block orders, and I think they're going to get shoved out at this point. So we'll watch it. I'm going to do some math on my phone. But we're through the high volume, the 3-year high volume edge, which is, we're chopping on it. Let's see here. Let's see that again. This is when it starts to turn into a winner. This is just a hard area to even figure out what exactly do you need to even fucking do. This is not my strength. Clearly, it's getting stuck. I had a projection of like 36, I think. Look at that. It keeps going. See, this is where I kind of get smart and I decide I need to get the fuck out of it. Instead of just trying to hold this thing forever. See how it's struggling here? And it just, all those, that juke down, these are those shorts getting squeezed out. That's why it popped up like this. So you can see I'm attempting to work my way out. I cancel because I'm being greedy about it. But it makes sense that since it's kind of embedded up here, that it could very well, and I have a projection of a higher price. What time does this trade end? 9:23 right now. It ends at 9:28. Fuck, I hold this thing for a lot longer, apparently. Yeah. So now I'm attempting to get out of it right here. 5 ticks on 4. I got Q1 with 3. So I only have 2 lots left. There it goes. So, I mean, it does go up higher, but, I mean, that initial move, it should have been a quick scalp. I need to be quicker. That's my strength. Oh, okay, the next one is a good one. 9. That was a sloppy trade altogether. I just don't like that. Just a sloppy trade. Hold on, I gotta make sure I'm at the right time here. 9:10. Already 9:40. Yeah, okay. So the next trade's along. It's only 24 seconds off 2 contracts for $200. This is probably the best trade It goes against me 1 and it goes in my favor 8. So this is definitely a fucking... This is the MVP trade of the day. Let's see what happens. So a little context. You can see this is where I got out on that last trade. And then it comes back up, of course, right when I get out. You know how that shit works. And then it cascades down. And we're on this high volume edge again. So this high volume edge is on the 3-year profile is definitely, again, the high volume edge looks like this on a 3-year. So I take a composite of 3 years of ES data and make one profile, and then I look for these high volume edges because they do hold as support and resistance. And this 3POC is the 3-year point of control as well. So we're sort of on the other side of this 3-year point of control, which is good. And we're on the other side of this 3-year high volume edge, which is good for it to stay up here. This is going to be a long... And it's only 24 seconds, so this is the type of trading that I'm good at. Look at that. There you go. There's a pull, what is it? A pull push. No, it might not be, because we have to see it happen multiple price levels. Let's see. What I get in at 941. Still got a long ways to go here. Watch this size come in. Should be coming in here. See what happens. Right there, 29.50. We got 479. Ooh, it just pulled off briefly and came back on. Looks like we have this 241 that came in on the tape. Now we have size starting to build up here. That wasn't even a pull push. That was just sort of size bumping in and bumping out. So I go long here. So I go long here. You can see that this was obviously an issue where we bounce into it several times. It's an overnight high. And I also know this is a high volume edge. See this node? Let's look at the entry again. Look at the stochastic too. The 1 minute is going to go back up. So that's kind of good too. And that size is flexing on that high volume edge. So I don't fucking get it. Damn. So I just kind of fucking shooting the fucking wind for that one. In front of this higher node, which is good. Which is good. This is kind of chasing a trade. And boom, I get out right there. That was a quick scalp. Let's watch it again. Very quick scalp. I want it. Damn, that just a little too slow on that. It looks like it could come back in and try to fill it, but it doesn't. And the thing is higher node could act as resistance, but it doesn't. Seeing how we get to the other side of this is a good thing. And we got through it quickly. So I could see how that entry is good. Let's see what the tape says. Oop. Look at that. That there's nothing. The 178 is good. I don't like how it changes colors like that. I'm trying to figure out how to make it not do that. It does that when you're at new highs, but I don't want it to change colors. God dang. And then I front run this size that's been sitting there, and then you got this 576 sitting here. I just want to keep watching this because this is the best trade of the day. It's a breakout. Let's see if any size comes in on the bid and jams it too. Because we just watched the tape. I want to see if anything on the bid is jamming it. No. Nothing unusual until we get up here. This 579 comes in. I'm trying to front run this price. Boom, boom. Look, and that is gone. That big bid is gone. And of course it comes in. So that was a really good momentum play. Where that other trade, this one right here, where I fucking left it on the table for a loser, that's how that play should have been executed. So I got to take a quick piss. I'm going to let this play. I'll be right back. Looks like it's going pretty wild up here. All right, but that's that trade. So let's go ahead and I'm sure you want to see what happens. It gets through, but that was a fucking perfect fucking trade. God, that was such a good trade. That was a very good trade. At 9, which trade is that? That's the 941. Perfect trade. Perfect trade. See, this is why I like reviewing, because I get to see what I'm really good at, and that proves my fucking point. $9.41. The next trade, we start giving it all back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oof. What time is it? 9:46. So this is the 9:47. It's a short. Goes against me. 4 goes in my favor. 1. This is where that scalp took place on that perfect trade. And as you can see, we're getting through it, but it looks like that sellers are really jabbing at it, you can see. Ah, yeah, and look at all this cluster up here. I think that's why I try to fade here on a clear trend day. So I go short there. Kind of makes no sense to go short there. You know what it is I see this small distribution zone, this small bell curve building. I think that's why I go for it. Yeah. Just looking at it, it really doesn't make any sense to have done that. That was very impulsive. Like, yeah, I would need more information to take a trade here. Yeah, and I just get out of it because of how it's sort of banging into there. I'm like, ah, fuck, here it goes again. So the next trade is pretty immediate after this, which turns out to be a long. It's a 2-minute and 45-second duration long. It goes against me. 4 goes in my favor. 1, just like the last trade. Realistically, I think playing the breakout at 35 even would be where it should be at. But again, I was predicting 36, and it's like, shit, we're pretty close to it. So I go long here because it looks like it's going to go for it because the size is backing out. I see this 585. In theory, it should test into it. Of course, it starts to come back in, and then the size comes back on, and it's like, shit. And then you got red on the tape. Now I got size kind of holding me up here. That's a good sign. See how it just nothing's happening here? It's a showdown. It's kind of like, there it goes. Where volume stalls out and you're over a bigger price node. This feels like it's going to go through here. Just watching this. There we go. Now we got some strength. I don't even know where my risk would be on something like this. See, the thing is, where is it? Right here. This actually touches the point of this highlighted zone. Positioning myself for breakouts too early or too late. I feel that's kind of what's happening here. And that size is pulling off again. Do I decide to get out right here because it's dancing back and forth? It's a 2-tick loser, so I get out at this price. Volume's definitely a little slower. There it goes. See, it's just like sinking in, just prodding at 33.25, which isn't good. That's a good sign. I know this is going on for a while. How long is this one? 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It ends at 9:50, so yeah, I'm about to get out of it. It's not, yeah, I'm like, oof, I had enough. I think I lose confidence at this point. I'm like, ugh. Let's see what happens, though. Watch it go in my favor. That always happens, right? You know, it definitely tests up there. Ooh, and then it comes back in, and then it tumbles away. So really getting out of that was a good idea. So, things I did good. Good things. Let's write. Which trade was that? It was the 948. 948. Lost confidence. And trade took 2 tick loss. Turned out to be the right move. Let's go ahead and put in that perfect trade, which is at 941. Things I did good, because I want to feel good about this day. Even though it turned out to be a shit day, P&L wise, what did I do good? 941. Perfect quick scalp on a breakout that yielded 200, 8 ticks and 26 seconds with no hesitation. Hell yeah. That was a beautiful trade. So this thing sunk in. I want to see what caused this drop right here. That I want to see. So you kind of have a high volume edge here. You got the size sitting here. What's the stochastic is over bought. Probably hear a cat meowing in the background. Has food. Oh, did you see that? That was a pinch, and then check it out. You got the 424 sitting here on a high volume edge, right? And look at what happens at 33.75. So it's built up to 316, 465. We got some red on the tape, quite a bit of red on the tape. And, oh, looks like I'm attempting to go for it. Do I go for this trade? 956. Do I go for this? No, I don't. That's a shame. It looks like I'm attempting to go for it. 143 on the tape. Let's see if they fight back. They just clear it out. And right here, I'm worried about a top tick turnover at this point where this 312 is. Looks like I'm attempting to maybe go for it, but I'm a little concerned about it. Yeah, at this point, it's like too late to even take a trade here. Look at that. Where does it reverse? On the low node. It's almost a resistant flip. Yeah, it bounces right back up. I do want to tag this. I do want to tag this. So it is 9:58. 9:58. Breakdown. Bounce. Off low node. Where does it go from this point forward? And then it starts chopping in that low node and fills it up. And look where it gets rejected at. I want to definitely going to have to review that one. So the next trade is a horrific trade. The worst trade of the day. It goes against me. So I trade 3. That's why it's so bad. See, what I ended up doing was scaling up. I don't know if that's a revenge trade. It sure as the hell seems like it. It goes against me 6, goes in my favor 1. It's not a good trade at all. What happened? So you can see this is where we had that drop, bounce. Where does it bounce? Right here. We come in. We're past the low noded area. It obviously got filled in, but the low node was right here. And this trade is a 1 minute and 36 second duration. So let's see what happens here. And honestly, looking at this, I don't see any reason to take a trade in here. Like, there's just nothing in this area to consider taking a trade. No significant size. The volume profile is all real choppy in here, so it's going to be very turbulent. Yeah, we're butting up against that low node, so this yesterday value area low could turn into resistance, but I don't see any reason for this at all. Clearly, I was measuring something on some really bullshit scalp. It looks like I'm trying to front run here, and I guess my thinking is this is going to be it's just not an A+ setup. There's nothing in here for this trade to even be worthwhile. And realistically, I'd want to risk to 32 because it's a high volume edge. For such a bullshit, too much risk for the reward. It's not It ends up costing me the most too. So this is just not a good trade at all. It makes no sense. Like taking a trade there just makes no sense looking at it. Basically caught a bottom too. That's not good. There's no reason for that. There's these really dumb trades that cost the most. Like, it's one thing if this lost, I lost on this one and it was a good setup to begin with, but this just makes no sense, period. Yep, and I did. I took it off at my risk zone, so that's good, I guess. It's the good thing. So the good thing I did was take the trade off where my risk zone was. So I did pick risk, but at the same time, and I said on my report card, I failed my risk. I kind of do at the end of the day. I really fuck it. So I wouldn't give myself necessarily an F, but definitely like a D or a C or something like that. That was just stupid trade. And I took it on 3. A little bullshit scalp for 3. So you can see at that point I'm trading on tilt. So I'm trying to think what caused that. Well, what caused that was taking these 2 losers in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that was my 10th trade. So theoretically I was done at that point. But the thing is, I wanted to get back what I lost, so I ended up revenge trading and just fucking the rest of the day. Because at this point, I was still up, I believe, like 200 or 100. The next trade, this 150, is at 1010. So you can see it was a good thing I got out of it. But this next trade, I make 150. It's a minute and 38-second buy on 3. Goes against me 2, goes in my favor 5. Doesn't make sense, though. Doesn't make sense. See what happens here. So I'm about to jump in it. So we can see that this zone here is 33.25. This is where we had this dramatic move down. And you can see we bounced into it. So this zone, even though there's no size here, theoretically 33.25 looks like a decent support zone now that we're above it. It looks like I'm measuring that area too, so I start to see that. I decided to get on the high node because we're trading into it. And if we can trade to the other side, this node will be traded into quite a bit, so it will be slightly easier to get out of it. If I was to pick risk on it, it would have to be 32.50. Or some sort of size, which I'm not seeing. So now we're trading on to the, I remember this trade. I felt very confident about this trade too. This particular trade I knew was going to work out very well. That's why I went in with 3. So we get above where this what resistant area was. You can see we bounced off of it once, bounced off of it twice. Now we're coming back into it. I know that 36 should at least get hit, and 410's defending it. And again, taking a trade on this point of control area is good because we're going to back and forth into it. But I want to stay kind of on the higher side of it. That's good. So it looks like off 3, I'm just trying to take a point into this size that's sitting here at 35 even. I do get it. It looks like I'll get it. Look how stubborn it is. It's like, fuck. But you have this was in the 300s. It pulled off right here at the 34 even. So that's kind of not a good sign. But we're stalling up here, which is kind of good in the sense that it looks like it wants to attack it. So we're going to be... So now this high node's acting as support, and this high node's going to at least act support 1 or 2 times, and then it will give up the more it's tested. Because you can see back here that it held up quite a bit, and then eventually we got through it. Ooh, wow. Did you see them slam these 2 blocks on the tape? So sellers are trying to hold it down here, but there's absorbing, obviously, at these prices by buyers. That's a good sign for this to go up. Boom, there it is, but where does it go? And then you had that 300 come in behind me. Let's see if it blasts through here. Oh. I actually turned the computer off immediately, so I don't even know. Which was the 11th trade of the day. It was kind of a revenge trade, but at the same time, it was a really good, solid play. So let's go ahead and tag it. This is the 10-10 trade. High node bump is what I'll call it. Perfect execution. High node bump. Actually, we'll write in good things. So 10-10. Because I was very confident on that one. I just knew it was going to work out. Very confident on trade. It just made, I can't explain it, but I was very confident on it. So high node bump against size. Okay, so leave that there. Next trade, we make $50. 2 ticker. It's a long one at 11 minutes and 40 seconds. So this goes into the afternoon. I decided to fire the computer back up, but theoretically I should have been done. And clearly I'm like, okay, I'm more clear-minded at this point. I can take better trades. It's the afternoon, yada, 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 because I was gone. I took a nap for like 2 hours. Woke up, felt great. I'm like, I'm only going to take fantastic setups, and then obviously I get caught up in some stupidity right here. So at 140 here. So long, it's 11 minutes 40 seconds. It goes against me too, goes in my favor 4. Let's see if it's even a good trade. So you can see we're way up there now, or way up here. You can see where I turned the computer on, so I look at this low node. I think that's what it is I play off this low node at 3875. See how there's only 822 here? So I wrote play below it because I'm going to take a short if we get across it, but the problem is this 505. So you're going to probably bounce here. Look how the volume's so low and slow because it's in the afternoon at this point. So I decide to take it there, which it makes sense. And my risk is going to be 3850. So I do have predefined risk. And this should turn into a bell curve up here. And also you have the zigzag pattern. So we test up here, we come down, and then we make a lower low by 1 tick exactly. We're against the low node. So it makes sense, and this trade goes on forever. So I'm going to fast forward it. And it makes sense. Like, I'm willing to hold it. We go through, again, where it says play, that's my risk. I've already predefined it. And it's just such a low volume area that, as in there's not much volume. See how sideways the market is. When I get out at 152. So I get out in about a minute. Also, this bell curve isn't perfect. Notice this high node. This is kind of like the last trade we looked at, but we're staying on the lower end of it. There we go. We get through it. We blast back down. And theoretically, this is the middle of the bell curve, so it could be a bounce right here and come back and then eventually cross the low node. So I attempt to work my way out. Yeah, see, now we're staying on the low side of this node. So this node's definitely acting as resistance, and then up here you have more size, so I get out right there. So, but I do want to tag it. Because it does go back up. See how it kind of, well, it's so choppy. Doesn't it cross down at this point? There it goes. Now it finally goes. It's tested way too many times down here, though. I don't know if I would necessarily tag it, but I was looking for this move, and it just wasn't happening quick enough. That I should have been more patient with it. So what is this? 211. Let's tag it. Because it is a playbook play. 1-6. At what time? 211. 211. Low node bounce. It's on an 8-second chart, so really that should have been scaled up for the low volume time. When it's low volume, you need to scale it up in the afternoon. Good intentions on the trade, it just didn't do what I wanted quick enough. So what time was that? 13:40. Write something good about myself. 13:40. playbook setup. Took it. Didn't hesitate on entry. So I took it. I didn't hesitate. I took it. It looked like a playbook entry. Everything. It looked great for what it was. I took it. That's how it should be. And yeah, I only took 2 ticks, but you know, I should have been a little more patient with it. I mean, you can see why I decided to get out of it. Also, I was losing confidence. So yeah, it's kind of good that I got out of it. So the next trade is at 1450. It's a break even. It goes against me too. Goes in my favor 1. It's a 48-second long. Let's see if this even makes sense. So what you have here is interesting. Is you have a low node, a high node, and size that was on and off. And again, here's that low node. If I would have held that trade, look at that. Is this a long? Yeah. Oh, I missed the entry. I was looking at another screen. Let's see what happened here. So this is sort of like that low or that high node, that one move that I made 150 on, that I was very confident in. Same thing, you got this sort of high node here, but let's see what happens. Size comes in at 42.75. Starting to get thick here. Look, there's over 329, and you got all these 300s that are coming in. The tape's completely blue with blocks. Very aggressive buying. Now you have this 484 right here. It makes sense to go for it. Now it's bumped up to 530. I buy the fucking top, which is kind of stupid because I could, in theory, get the fill. No, I couldn't have. I'm front running this size at 578. Yeah, I could have got the fill down here. No, so far no, actually. Right here, this is where the fill at one of these lower prices would have been good. Yeah, just buying the top tick is just so stupid. And now you got this size. You have this size that's been here too, and I wasn't even paying attention to that. At 44 even though it's sort of pulled off, it just, that's good, but to me it kind of, I kept looking at it, I'm like, man, this looks like a top tick turnover. Oh, and also that's why I decided to get out. You have, notice all these, the 110, 100, 100, 100, all these red blocks. I'm like, oof, I'm losing confidence. This looks like a top tick turnover. Where does it go from this point forward? Up. Yeah, but not by much, and it struggles. So the next trade, we start losing a lot here. Which this is a 56-second long. Goes against me 8. Goes in my favorite 1. So This is, again, this is where I originally tried to get the entry, right? I was in it and I broke even here. Now it's still going up. But it's just grinding up. It's not. So at this point, I think I have FOMO. Yeah. I bet I buy a top tick again. It's 2:53, so the market's about to close in a few minutes. Oh, I remember what happens here. Yeah, I buy the fucking top tick. So I'm like, it's gonna go for it. It's going up all day long. Watch this. It looks good, right? It looks great. You got all this size back here, holding the market up. But that's liquidity. See how we're stalling against all that size? We're just stalling here. Watch it just zap it. 272 on the tape. Not good. Right there, it's already starting to look bad. I can... Yeah, it's being held up 108, 150. This came in back to 400. 116 on the tape. Now they're pitching it with two dual layers. Got that 116. I think I already said that. This is up to 500. That's good. This is also 600, 500. So somebody is clearly exiting for the day, and there it goes. I'm sick at this point. I'm like, oh my God, I need to get the fuck out of here. I had no risk picked. I take it. And what does it do? It goes right back to fuck up. Right? Yeah, it goes right back up to my entry. So I got shook out on that one. Lose another 150 here. 23-second short. I decided to go short this time. It doesn't go in my favor at all. Immediately goes against me 7. So I'm like, it's getting stuck up here. It's not going to go. It's not going to go. It's going to drop back in again. I'm speculating. I'm not trading anything that makes sense. I'm trading 2 minutes into the close. The close isn't like the opening. The close is people just trying to get the fuck out. In the opening, there seems to be more. It seems to make more sense to the madness to me. I know it's high volatility in the morning, but it makes more sense than the close does, because the close is just people trying to get the fuck out, setting traps and providing liquidity. So I'm like, this is a top tick turnaround. It's stalling here. I'm going to go short. It came up by 1 tick. It's falling back in. I decide there's the 700. I know we're going to trade into it. You know, I'm like, once they hit it, I'm going to hit it. Boom, I hit it. For some reason, I get the order below, and then it just fucking didn't work out the way I was hoping it would, and then it continues to go up. I'm like, shit. That's not good. Now you got that 800. That's going to get fucking filled. See? And I'm like, fuck, I gotta get out of it. And then the next trade is a break even. 18 seconds long. Goes against me 3, goes in my favor 4. As you can see, I immediately went long. I'm like, shit, it's going back up. So I'm flipping now. I'm flipping back and forth, back and forth. That's what fucking kills me, is when I start flipping like that. So I'm like, I'll get it right here. I'm trying to get my money back at this point. But it's just hesitating so much right there. I decided to break even. I'm like, fuck it, I'm done. I think it does go up more, but it doesn't matter. See how chaotic the close is. So that's this video. That's the trades. That's a terrible day. But let's go over what we did well. All these things I did very well, and I'm proud of it. So that's good to know. All right. This has been long enough.